Hello, and welcome to this Aptem introduction video. Throughout your system group learning program, you'll be using the Aptem learning platform. This video will explain and demonstrate how you will use the platform throughout your program. We'll cover topics such as how to log on and your personal settings, the screen layout, and topics such as messaging your coach, your dashboard, and the information hub. Then we'll cover your learning plan and how to navigate around it, plus viewing content, submitting work, and actually receiving feedback from your coach. Then we'll cover checking your progress and how to submit your records of learning. To start Aptem, first open a normal browser window. Aptem works well with Chrome, Edge, Safari, and Firefox browsers on tablets, laptops, and desktop computers. The URL is systemgroup.aptem.co.uk. So you type that into your browser, and then you type in your email address. For this demo, I'm using a demo user ID. Put in, turn, enter the password, then click sign in. And the first thing you'll see when you log on is normally your dashboard. In the top right of the screen, there will be your initials. If you click on that, you can see there are settings and where to log out. Let's look at settings. Firstly, there are notifications, which controls the number of email nudges that you get from Aptem. About You is where you can change your name, email, phone, address, and date of birth. Signature sample is where you enter your electronic signature, which will be used on documents like reviews. And then security settings is where you can change your password. If I move the cursor back to the left-hand side of the screen, a blue menu pops out, and we can click Dashboard again to go back to our dashboard. The dashboard comprises a number of different panels. The top left one tells us the name of the program, the name of your coach, and also you can message your coach. So I click message there, enter a message to my coach, and just click send. And the message will appear a bit like WhatsApp or texting on your phone, and then your coach can reply to you. If you do get a message back, you'll get a little red notification on the messages item on the blue left-hand side menu. Let's go back to the dashboard. Click that. The middle panel, Progress, lists the qualifications that are part of your program. And here you can see that there's a health and safety qualification, principles of warehouse and storage qualification, and driving goods vehicles. The progress bar goes from left to right as you complete activities and assessments on your program. So every time you complete an assessment and the coach marks it, progress will be shown here. The next useful section here is requires attention, which is where Aptem reminds you if there are specific messages or things you need to look at. For instance, unread messages, or here you'll also receive feedback from your coach when they mark your activity. Let's move back to that blue menu. And now I'm going to select the next item, which is learning plan. Your learning plan comprises all the activities that you'll be doing or following on your program. So for instance, we have a pathway introduction, then a review, a welcome digital learning package, a unit day 1 digital learning package, and then an assessment, which is where you submit your work. Then underneath that, we've got a record of learning activity, which is where you record the hours you've spent on that day and provide feedback on what you've learned. In the middle, you can see there's a date, and that date is the day that you should be doing the activity. And on the right-hand side is the status of the activity. So this one says completed because I did that earlier. The record of learning says evidence required. So that's a reminder for you to complete your record of learning each day. If I scroll down, you can see there are more activities underneath. If I keep scrolling, you can look ahead to see what work is upcoming. So you can look ahead and get a feel for the program. If I scroll back up to the top, on the top left, you can see that I can hide or collapse May, and then I can click the little down arrow to the left of June and open up June. Or I can open up May again. So that's just another way of navigating around your program. So let's select one of these activities and have a look. I'm going to scroll down and select this one, the Welcome Digital Learning Package. If I click on it, on the right-hand side, a panel opens up and it says this is digital learning, has its name, and then there are some instructions. I'll just click Show All Instructions. So what this is telling me is that I should click the Start Learning button. And in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see there's a blue Digital Learning button. Every digital learning activity has one of these. So if we click on it, the specially designed e-learning material will come up on our screen. Let's scroll down a little bit more and click Let's Go. So now in the middle of the screen, there's a variety of material. There may be some text, introduction material, videos. And then when you get to the end of a particular section, there'll be a button or link for you to click to go to the next section. So I scroll down again. There's various other material that you can look at. Click again. So we can look at the aims of the program, or the objectives, and so on. On the left-hand side of the screen is a contents list of this particular activity. So you can see there are little red ticks as I have gone through each section. When you've completed all this activity, you would click the Exit Course in the top right, and then the X top right to go back to your learning plan. And you can see now the status of this activity shows as completed. Just close that panel by the X in the top right. Your coach will take you through your course, displaying these activities, delivering material, and on occasions they'll ask you to go into these activities and either perform a quiz or perform some work, possibly repeat what they have done. So on occasions, your coach will be delivering this material to you. On other occasions, the coach will ask you to actually go into these activities and perform them yourself. Next, I want to show you some of the other options that are on the blue left-hand side menu. So if you move the mouse over there, you'll see there are lots of options. Let's start at the bottom with the Information Hub. Click on that. And here you'll find a variety of documents. For example, the Learner Handbook. If I click on that, You will have seen the Learner Handbook during your enrolment process. This includes a variety of useful information and documents. Just scroll down, just table of contents. So welcome, guide to teams, for instance, health and safety, plagiarism, and so on. If you want the document to be full page, you can go to this little tag here. If I right click on it, just open up in a new tab. I go here into that new tab, you'll see that it's got the document open in full screen. Okay, let's go back to my Aptem tab and go back to the Information Hub. So that's the Learner Handbook. There's information and guidance as well, which your coach will refer to during the course. I click Let's Go. So you can download the handbook if you want, or you can go through it this normal way. If you look on the left-hand side, again, like some of the other digital learning, there's various sections that you can jump to. Again, your coach may refer you to some of these. Let's go back to the Information Hub. Go back there. And there's various other documents. Okay, back to the blue menu. So we've seen the Information Hub. Let's click on Advice Center. Now here there's some useful documentation about applying for jobs, creating a CV, or interviewing. You can refer to that at any time. Moving up to Documents. During your learning journey, you may do several reviews and the documents will reside here. And if you need to sign any documents, they'll display here as well, requesting your signature. Back to the blue menu. Messages we've already seen. And then further up, we're back to the learning plan. Okay, next I want to show you how to do an assessment. If I scroll down, you can see there's an assessment here. If I click on it, just like all other activities, this right-hand side panel opens up. And as it's a digital learning activity, you can see that the Start Learning button is there. Let's just look at the instructions. So essentially, we have to complete all the questions in the text boxes provided and then click Save and Finish. Let's have a look at that. I'll click Start Learning now. And displayed are a set of questions normally relating to the material, the learning material that you just covered with your coach on that day. So I'm going to put in some dummy answers. Let's spell that right. I'm just going to put some dummy answers in for all these questions. And as you can see, sometimes you have to have multiple parts to your answer. Here, this one it's asking for 4 important topics. And for instance, describe the legal responsibilities of employers. We're obviously looking for 5 points, 5 responsibilities. I'm going through, answering the questions. Nearly there. Okay, I'm going to stop there. If at any point I want to save my answers and go for a cup of coffee and come back later, I can do that. I just click Save. And then when I go back into that activity by clicking Start Learning again, it'll remember my answers. When I'm ready to submit my work to the coach for reviewing and assessment, I click Finish. Let's click that now. Are you sure? Yep. But there's some red text that's appeared in this case. Basically, it's telling me that I haven't filled out all the answers. And you can see there that these two are the ones that are missing. So I'll just put in some dummy answers there. I'll click Finish again. Am I sure? Yep. So they've been saved. And the little tick here on the tab at the top left shows that that activity is completed. So in this case, I've submitted my answers. I'll click that X top right again to go back to my learning plan. Now you can see that the status of the activity has changed to evidence submitted. So it'll stay like that until the coach has reviewed that work. Here's a top tip. If I scroll down here, you can see there's evidence, which is what you've just submitted. And there's a criteria tab that's hiding. If I click on that, scroll down, and click on these little arrows to the left, we can open up the learning criteria that this activity is designed to assess. It's worth having a look at these before you submit your work so you understand what that activity is about and what its purpose is. And these learning criteria, when they are marked, they're the items that will add progress on your dashboard. Okay. So I'm going to pause there for a second, and then when I come back, I will have been the coach and will have marked the work. Okay, I'm back now, and as a coach, I've just marked this learner's work. I know that because if I look here in the notifications top right, you can see the bell has got a little red number that's pulsating. If I click on it, it says evidence approved. So this is the way that the coach is informing you that they've marked your work. And there's some feedback from the coach, although it's rather short, telling you, giving you some feedback. If you needed to change your work, because maybe one of the answers wasn't quite right, you would get evidence needs further work, and you would have some explanation from your coach about what you need to do. So I'll close that. And also you can see the status of the task has gone to completed. So I click on it. Again, it shows us it's completed. And the evidence down here has been accepted. If I want a little bit more detail, I can click on the down arrow and look at this assessment report. If I click on that, it opens up a PDF and it tells us that this test learner performed this activity on this, and it was assessed on this date by this person and it was accepted. These are the learning criteria, and here are the comments. So if you need to redo one of the questions, you might need to open this document to read the comments in detail. I go back to my dashboard now. So if we go back to my dashboard now, we can see that there's some progress on this particular qualification, and that's because we've completed one of the assessments. Okay, let's go back to the learning plan. And we've seen the digital learning activities, we've seen assessments, and the last thing I want to show you are these record of learning activities. Generally, there's one of these each day for you to record the time that you've spent on the program, and that's very important for audit and funding reasons. So if I click on it, you get its right-hand side panel, and it says you need to add and complete a record of your learning every day. This is essential, and it gives you step-by-step instructions how to do it. Now, the first step is to click Add a Note. So let's do that. So click Add Note. And we select Other. That's the date. I'm going to say I've spent 6 hours today. I select any of these options. It doesn't matter which option you select. They might be slightly geared towards apprenticeships. So if you're on an adult education program, you just have to select one and it won't have any other impact. And then here you would write a short summary of what was delivered or what you have learned this day. The coach will provide you with some suggestions and guidance, but you can put this into your own words. Okay. And then at the end, you click Save. And again, just like any other assessment, the status changes to evidence submitted. And your coach will see that and they will review it and mark it in the normal way. And if it's not quite right, again, your coach will give you feedback and you'll get a notification in the top right-hand corner. Okay, so to recap, you'll be using Aptem every day on your program. It contains all the training material you'll need. Your coach and learning experience officers will help you use Aptem and support you through your program and can answer any questions that you have. And we very much hope you enjoy your course.